Hello everybody and welcome to our new lesson, which is the social challenges. It's located in chapter 33, lesson 2. In this lesson, we're gonna discuss a lot of social challenges like as poverty, discrimination, armed conflicts around the world, and the violence against people and the impunity. The impunity, guys, is simply the freedom of punishment. What do I mean by freedom of punishment? Or the exemption of the punishment. Like we can say the misusage of power. Any official will simply, according to his position, he had some powers, like the crimes happened during the wartime. So you are free to kill anyone without getting any punishment. And of course, the most important global challenge nowadays, it's simply the illegal immigration around the world. Do you imagine that over there in the States next to the borders they had invented and displayed a new signboards for the illegal trafficking or for the illegal immigrations. Legal immigrants, sorry. Let's go on. Let's start. Back to the year 1978, over there in the States, they established the first Human Rights Watch, or it had the name the Helsinki Watch. In 1981, it became known as the Americas Watch for North and South America. 1985, they established Asia Watch. 1988, the African one. In 1989, the Middle East Watch. All of these watches together, all of these committees had combined and unified themselves and they became known as the Human Rights Watch since 1988. So, what's a human rights? I have heard this term before, but what is it? The Human Rights Watch, يا أولاد, conducts fact-finding investigations of human rights abuses and monitors various countries to ensure they are not in violation of the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights. What do I mean by the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights? If there is any known and familiar basic human rights, it's available and all the countries all over the world agree for such human rights? Yes. Let's see. In 1948, it was the creation of the United Nations over there in the States. They agreed together to establish and to announce the basic human rights for all of the people all over the world. They name it the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948. طيب, what is it? What's the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights? It simply says that all people deserve basic human rights without distinction of any kind, and this distinction can be related to race, color, sex, language, or even religion. And of course, one of the most clear examples of the violation of the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights will be upon religion. Of course, we have four main religions all over the world: Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and Buddhism. Some groups of people are at greater risk of human rights abuses than others. People who disagree, by the way, with their government, or people who are members of a religious or ethnic minority groups. Ethnic minority groups and the religious minority groups. طيب, as you know يا أولاد, all over the world, every single country consists of one and only dominant group and several minority groups. Of course, the dominant group wanna spread its influence, and maybe at some times the dominant group wanna eliminate the minority groups. Women and children, by the way, are at a greater risk to face the violation of the human rights all over the world. طيب, in our lesson, of course, I will tell you how the United Nations enforced the working of the human rights movement. Many individuals and groups are working to improve and protect the human rights around the world. The United Nations, by the way, investigates human rights abuses and works with the national governments to establish and to protect the basic human rights. يعني the United Nations simply is working with the regional governments in order to enforce the human rights. So they established what was known as the NGO. The NGO is simply an abbreviation for non-governmental organization. The issue or the purpose of establishing such an organization is simply to provide services and to promote certain public policies. One of the very famous non-governmental organizations around the world are the Red Cross, or here in the Middle East we call it the Red Crescent, or because of this distinction according to the religion, and I'm talking here about the emblem, the crescent and the cross. They had invented a new emblem or a new logo for this non-governmental organization, and they call it the Red Crystal, regardless of this religious symbol. So what is it? What's the Red Cross, the Red Crescent, or even the Red Crystal? It's simply an international movement which was founded to protect the human life and health and to ensure respect for all human beings and to prevent the human suffering. So one of the famous NGOs around the world, يا ولاد, is the Red Cross or the Red Crescent. طيب, what do you think the social challenges can be in our lesson? Do you remember the first slide? Yes, let's talk about the social challenges or the global challenges. The first challenge we're gonna discuss will be poverty. Can you imagine that 20% of the world's population live on less than $1 per day and do not have access to basic human needs or basic services like education and the health care? Why do you think they have this poverty all over the world? Because of two main reasons. Because of the lack of the natural resources and because of wars. The result of this poverty and the result of this global challenge will be a famine. And of course, يا ولاد, famine is an extreme shortage in food. So why do we have poverty in the world? Because of two main reasons. Because of the lack of natural resources and because of wars. What's the result of this global challenge? Poverty. The result will be famine, extreme shortage of food. طيب. Although poverty is found in the world's wealthiest nations, it's available also in the poor ones. طيب, the wealthiest nations will try to help the poor ones by giving them some loans to help to enhance their economic conditions. When used carefully, by the way, and I'm talking here about the international loans, of course the result can be good for them. So why do you think the wealthiest nation is helping the poorest ones? Because of the illegal immigration. Because if their conditions are not good, they will simply flee their country. They will escape and go looking for a better chance, a better life in one of the neighboring countries, if one of the neighboring countries is rich or a wealthy nation. طيب, يبقى the first global challenge was poverty. What about the second one? Let's see. The second one will be diseases. Although many diseases have their largest impact on a local or on regional levels, globalization, unfortunately, globalization has made controlling diseases a challenging for the entire world. Why? Because the international air travels allow diseases to spread rapidly as infected people move from place to another. And we have a lot of examples. We have SARS, which appeared in China 2002 after only 3 months. This disease spread rapidly to Asia, the Americas, and to Europe. And like AIDS or the HIV, it simply appeared in Africa in 1981. Until now, we are in 2020, 25 million people died from this disease. And by the way, the millions are still infected. They are not dead. And of course, nowadays, why do you think we have such a live session? Because of COVID-19. I wish I could have some information to write it for you here, but until now, the numbers is not clear. So all of these diseases, SARS, AIDS, COVID-19, it's simply all of them are epidemics. The epidemic is the outbreak of a contagious disease that spreads quickly and affects many people. So we had poverty, diseases, and the last one will be the natural disasters. The natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, and floods also affect many areas of the world, even causing deaths and destroying homes and businesses. Of course, in 2004, there was a huge tsunami that destroyed the large part of Southeast Asia, and it took them, I think, more than 3 years to fix whatever tsunami had destroyed over there in Southeast Asia. طيب, all over the world, the people are moving. The movement of people around the world has increased rapidly in recent years. Why do you think? Because of two main reasons. Of course, people want to have better chance, better jobs, better life, or simply they are refugees. Refugee is simply people who flee violence in their home country to seek safety in another one. يبقى people are moving from a place to another because of two main reasons: better life, better chance, or refugees. And they created the migration. The migration, simply the movement of people. And in fact, we have a lot of factors in this migration process. We have the pull and push factors. Of course, the pull factors can be better jobs or even better life. Oh, it's a wrong spelling. Better jobs or better life. And for the push factors, of course, wars and poverty in your home country. So if you have these two main problems, you wanna escape and go looking for a better life. Of course, the destination for the better jobs and the better lives will be in the wealthy developed nations in North America and Europe. The States is in the first rank for the settlement of the immigrants, and Canada the second. Australia is in the third place. So the destination will be wealthy developed nations. And by the way, here I'm talking about the legal migration, not the illegal one, because the illegal migration is another title. Migrants are often able to return to their native countries to visit, which make it easier to return their own cultures, languages, and habits. طيب. Over there, they wanna find work and provide a better life for themselves. But simply sometimes they face some kind of discrimination in their new countries. And of course, this discrimination exists because maybe the natives will try to think that the newcomers will try to take away jobs and services from the entire nations. The last global challenge we're gonna talk about will be urbanization. Urbanization, by the way, أولاد, will be another type of migration, but it happens within the country. In many parts of the world, people in search for jobs or better chances are moving in large numbers to urban areas within the country and within the nation. The world's fastest growing cities are located in developing countries. As the population of these countries grow, more of the people move to the cities looking for work. The vast urban areas of Mumbai, India, and Sao Paulo in Brazil are examples of rapidly growing cities. Sorry. يبقى يا ولاد, the population movement from a country to another, like the migration, and the urbanization within the same country or within the same nation. Thank you, أولاد. We're gonna stop at this point, and inshallah next week we're gonna have some exercises about this lesson.